Two 15s, one IQOO 15, one OnePlus 15. Both are 15. To be honest, I really feel quite emotional. There is indeed a bit of a gap. First, let's talk about where the OnePlus 15 is better than the IQOO 15, because there aren't many good points, so let's start with that. The first is the back cover. This feeling, this texture is better than the packaging of the IQOO 15. Both in terms of look and feel, it's better. That's the first point. The second is the front screen's bezel, which is indeed a bit narrower, especially the bottom bezel. The other three sides are fine, but the bottom bezel is indeed a bit narrower, which looks better. Sorry, that's it, nothing more. Now let's talk about the main aspects where the IQOO 15 is better than the OnePlus 15.
First, this screen is excellent.
I saw online that some self-media actually said this screen quality is not good, various things. I think these people, maybe because it uses a Samsung screen, that's why they are talking nonsense. Because normally if you say, Korean things are not good or American things are not good, there is a large audience online. It's like some experts saying you live better with a 3,000 won salary than with $3,000 in America. It's the same thing. These people just keep winning. This screen without a doubt completely outshines the OnePlus 15. The OnePlus 15 is much worse than the previous generation and really falls short compared to this 2K Samsung. I don't want to say anything more. Then there's the battery life. We can take a look at their battery performance. As for battery life, since I don't have a lot of time to measure each one according to specific procedures, I just did it very simply and roughly. Whenever I had time, I would press a button and let both of them run. Ran from morning to evening a total of 6 times and took some photos and stuff in between. Using the two phones, the usage time was almost identical. In the first round of testing, the power consumption was about 1%, but this 1% is definitely not accurate. For Vivo phones now, there's one thing I don't quite like, which is that the first 1% is particularly persistent. This is something I really don't like. Other manufacturers' phones like Oppo, Xiaomi and Honor don't seem to have this issue now, and Huawei seems to have a bit of this issue. This wasn't a problem when battery life was good before, but now it's not really necessary. In the second round, there's a slight difference. One is at 90% and the other is at 84%, a 6% difference in battery. Then in the third round, the difference was already 8% in battery, and this gap will further widen. Then in the fourth round, hey, OnePlus seemed to catch up a little, only 6% behind, but that's because there was an anomaly in the OnePlus score. I don't know what happened. Inexplicably, this round's score was lower by hundreds of thousands of points. Then, after a while, they ran the 5th round. I waited for their phones to completely cool down before running it, so the scores were normal. The IQOO 15 has been performing very steadily, and the battery life gap has returned to about 8%. Then in the final round, the battery life difference of the foldable reached 10%, so there's nothing more to say, right? This is a very objective and straightforward battery life difference right here. Then I'll talk about some other aspects of the system performance of the foldable phone. In terms of system smoothness, both are excellent, and their functionality is also very good. Let me mention a few things I like about the South Factory. The first is its Office Suite. The Office Suite is really very useful. It works almost seamlessly, whether you're on a desktop or a laptop, regardless of the brand. As long as you're on the same network, the connection is very fast and very convenient. The screencasting and transfer speeds are excellent. In this aspect, it's better than Green Factory. Although Green Factory also has similar suites, they are not as convenient as those from South Factory. Another aspect is file management. Between the two phones, the file management on the South Factory is better than the Green Factory. If you often use file management for tasks or something, you might notice that it is indeed better. As for other minor aspects, I won't elaborate. Let's focus on the imaging of the Fold. Although it seems like OnePlus doesn't have a significant difference in terms of specifications, we need to look at the sample photos, right? Let's take a look at the sample photos from the foldable. Just directly shoot night scenes. Daytime scenes have too little difference, not much meaning. Feels like just shoot night scenes directly to compare strength. In this scene, I didn't use the landscape mode on the IQOO side. Everything was shot in normal mode with the ultra-wide angle consistently at 16mm. IQOO tends to compress the light a bit lower, while the IQOO 15 appears a bit brighter. It's just a difference in strategy. The difference in detail presentation is quite small in the ultra-wide angle area. Let's look at the main camera. You can see when zoomed in that IQOO is slightly better, especially in the dark areas where the details are indeed a bit better. Then let's look at the telephoto. One is 3 times, the other is 3.5 times. Although OnePlus can shoot further, its image quality is definitely not as good as the IQOO 15, and that's obvious at a glance.
One then zoomed to 6 times and another to 7 times.
The suggested focal length is likewise captured by IQOO, and it indeed performs better than OnePlus. Allow me to alter the scene here. IQOO has engaged its macro mode at this point. This is the ultra-wide angle, and it appears that IQOO performs marginally better. The difference is considerably significant, and when it comes to the main camera, IQOO indeed performs better. The telephoto performance demonstrates a more substantial gap, with IQOO's text appearing more solid and distinct, while the other side is somewhat blurry. Naturally, OnePlus doesn't perform poorly in every scenario. Both are pretty poor. In these scenarios, this exposure strategy usually makes the overall image a bit darker, right? You feel like it has more of that night scene vibe compared to IQOO, right? Although, at the time, indeed. The lighting is bright, and maybe the IQOO side matches what I see, but the OnePlus side seems more forgiving and comfy, right? Zooming in on details, the ultra-wide angle difference isn't huge, and for the main camera, the details on the unequal side are clearly a bit better, and the same conclusion applies to the telephoto. The IQOO is also better than the OnePlus 15, and this holds true even at 6 times zoom. I don't have the luxury of time to conduct additional comparisons. Work is indeed quite demanding, so I can only concentrate on what I can manage effectively. However, overall, I believe the IQOO 15 is significantly more worthwhile than the OnePlus 15. Both smartphones are offered at the same price point. And unless you have a strong preference for the design of the OnePlus, or are particularly concerned about the screen bezel, I am unable to find any other reason. But I really can't find any other reason. If I have to choose between these two phones, I can't find any reason to recommend OneFood to you. OneFood is clearly better. Even if you compare it with the Redmi K90 Pro Max, I would still recommend the IQOO 15. Among the current 3 flagship models in the 4,000 price range, the IQOO 15 is the most recommended, but there's also the Realme GT 8 Pro, right? Is it good? In just a few days, I'll demonstrate to everyone how that phone performs, alright?